Welcome to Bible in a Year with Scott Purcell. I'm so glad you're joining me. This is a daily reading of portions of the Bible, following a plan that will include the entire Bible in a year. And now, let's open the book and begin our readings. This is the reading for day 34. If your reading is aligned with the calendar year, this is for February 3rd. The Old Testament reading is from Job 30, 31, and 32. Job 30. But now those younger than I, as far as days, laugh at me, whose fathers I rejected for setting with the dogs of my sheep and goats. Moreover, what use to me is the strength of their hands? With them vigor is destroyed. Through want and through barren hunger they are gnawing in the dry region, in the darkness of desolation and waste. They are picking salt herbs, the leaves of bushes, and the roots of broom trees to warm themselves. They were driven out from fellow people. They shout at them as at a thief, so that they dwell in holes of the ground and in the rocks. They bray among the bushes. They are gathered under the nettles. A senseless crowd, yes, a disreputable brood, they were cast out from the land. But now I am their mocking song, and I have become a byword for them. They abhor me, they keep aloof from me, and they do not withhold spit from my face, because he has loosened his bowstring and humbled me, and they have thrown off restraint in my presence. On the right hand the brood rises up, they put me to flight, and they build up their siege ramps against me. They destroy my path. They promote my destruction. They have no helper. As through a wide breach they come. Amid a crash they rush on. Terrors are turned upon me. My honor is pursued as by the wind, and my hope of deliverance passed by like a cloud. And now my life is poured out onto me. Days of misery have taken hold of me. At night I am in great pain. My pains do not take a rest. He seizes my clothing with great power. He grasps me by my tunic's collar. He has cast me into the dirt, and I have become like dust and ashes. I cry to you for help, but you do not answer me. I stand, and you merely look at me. You have turned cruel to me. You persecute me with your hand's might. You lift me up to the wind. You make me ride it, and you toss me about in the storm. Indeed, I know that you will bring me to death, and to the house of assembly for all the living. Surely someone must not send a hand against the needy when, in his misfortune, there is a cry of help for them. Have I not wept for the unfortunate, and grieved myself over the poor? Indeed, I hoped for good, but evil came. And I waited for light, but darkness came. My bowels are in turmoil, and they are not still. Days of misery come to confront me. I go about in mourning garb, but not in sunlight. I stand up in the assembly, and I cry for help. I am a companion for the jackals, and a companion for ostriches. My skin turns black on me, and my bones burn with heat. So my lyre came to be used for mourning, and my flute for the voice of those who weep. Job 31. I made a covenant with my eyes, so how could I look closely upon a virgin? And what is the portion of God from above, or the heritage of Shaddai from on high? Is not disaster for the evil one, and ruin for the workers of mischief? Does he not see my ways and count all my steps? If I have walked with falseness and my foot has hastened to deceit, let him weigh me in the balance of justice, and let God know my blamelessness. If my steps have turned aside from the way, and my heart has walked after my eyes, and my hand has clung to a spot, let me sow and let another eat, and let my crops be rooted out. If my heart has been enticed by a woman, and at my neighbor's doorway I have lain in wait, Let my wife grind for another, and let other men kneel over her. For that is a shameful act, and that is a criminal offense. Indeed, that is a fire that will consume up to Abaddon, and it would uproot all my crop. If I have rejected my male or female slave's case when their complaint was against me, then what shall I do when God rises up? And when he inquires, how shall I answer him? Did not he who made me in the womb make them? And did not one fashion us in the womb? If I have withheld the desire of the poor from them, or I have caused the widow's eyes to fail, or I have eaten my morsel alone, and the orphan has not eaten from it, for from my childhood he grew up with me like a father, and from my mother's womb I guided her. If I have seen the one who perishes because of no clothing, or that there is no covering for the poor, if his loins have not blessed me, or by means of my sheep's fleece he has warmed himself, if I have raised my hand against an orphan because I saw my supporters at the gate, then let my shoulder blade fall from my shoulder, and let my arm be broken from its socket. Indeed, the disaster from God was a dread for me, and I was powerless because of his majesty. If I have made gold my trust, or I have called fine gold my security, if I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, or because my hand found a fortune, if I looked at the sun when it shone, or at the moon moving in splendor, and I was secretly enticed, and my hand threw them a kiss, this also is an iniquity to be judged, for I have deceived God above. If I have rejoiced at the ruin of the one who hated me, or have exulted when evil overtook him, no, I have not allowed my mouth to sin, to ask his life with a curse. Have the people of my tent not said, "Oh, that someone had not been satisfied with his meat"? An alien has not lodged in the street. I have opened my door to the traveler. Have I concealed my transgressions as other human beings to hide my iniquity in my bosom, because I dreaded the great multitude, and the contempt of clans terrified me, so that I kept quiet, I did not go out of the doorway? Oh, that I had someone hearing me! Here is my signature. Let Shaddai answer me. As for the written communication that my adversary has written, I would surely carry it on my shoulder. I would bind it on me like a crown. I would give him an account of my steps. I would approach him like a noble. If my land has cried out against me, and its furrows have wept together, if I have eaten its yield without payment, or have caused the breath of its owners to die, let thorns grow in place of wheat, and noxious weeds in place of barley. The words of Job are ended. Job 32. Then these three men ceased from answering Job, because he was righteous in his own eyes. So Elihu the son of Barachel the Buzite from the clan of Ram became angry. He became angry at Job because he justified himself rather than God. And he became angry at his three friends because they had not found an answer, and they had declared Job guilty. Thus Elihu had waited for Job to speak, because they were older than he. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of the three men, he became angry. Then Elihu the son of Barachel the Buzite spoke up and said, I am young, but you are old. Therefore I feared and became afraid of explaining my knowledge to you. I thought, let days speak, and let many years teach wisdom. Truly, it is a spirit in a human being, and the breath of Shaddai teaches them. It is not the aged who are wise, or it is not the elders who understand justice. Therefore I say, listen to me, let me also declare my knowledge myself. Look, I waited for your words. I listened for your insight until you searched out what to say. And I directed my attention to you. And look, there is no one for Job who refuted answering his words among you. So do not say, we have found wisdom, let God refute him, not a man. But he did not direct his words to me, and I will not answer him with your words. They are dismayed. They no longer answer. They have nothing to say. And I have waited, because they do not speak, because they stand there and no longer answer. I myself will answer my share also. I myself will declare my knowledge also. For I am full of words. The spirit within me urges me. Look, my internal organs are like unopened wine. Like new wineskins, it is ready to burst open. Let me speak that I may find relief. Let me open my lips and let me answer. Please let me not show partiality to anyone, and let me not show flattery to human beings. For I do not know how to flatter, else my Maker would soon put an end to me. The New Testament reading is from Matthew 22, verses 15 through 46. Matthew 22:15. Then the Pharisees went and consulted so that they could entrap him with a statement. And they sent their disciples to him with the Herodians, saying, Teacher, we know that you are truthful, and teach the way of God in truth, and you do not care what anyone thinks, because you do not regard the opinion of people. Therefore, tell us what you think. Is it permitted to pay taxes to Caesar or not? But because he knew their maliciousness, Jesus said, Hypocrites, why are you testing me? Show me the coin for the tax. So they brought him a denarius. And he said to them, Whose image and inscription is this? They said to him, Caesar's. Then he said to them, Therefore give to Caesar the things of Caesar, and to God the things of God. And when they heard this, they were astonished, and they left him and went away. On that day, Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came up to him and asked him, saying, Teacher, Moses said, if someone dies without having children, his brother is to marry his wife and father descendants for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers with us, and the first died after getting married, and because he did not have descendants, he left his wife to his brother. So also the second, and the third, up to the 7th. And last of all the woman died. In the resurrection, therefore, whose wife of the 7 will she be? For they all had her as wife. But Jesus answered and said to them, You are mistaken because you do not know the Scriptures or the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like angels of God in heaven. Now, concerning the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was spoken to you by God, who said, I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob? He is not the God of the dead, but of the living. And when the crowds heard this, they were amazed at his teaching. Now when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they assembled at the same place, and one of them, a legal expert, put a question to him to test him. Teacher, which commandment is greatest in the law? And he said to him, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments depend all the law and the prophets. Now, while the Pharisees were assembled, Jesus asked them, saying, What do you think about the Christ? Whose son is he? They said to him, David's. He said to them, How then does David by the Spirit call him Lord, saying, The Lord said to my Lord, Sit at my right hand until I put your enemies under your feet? If then David calls him Lord, how is he his son? And no one was able to answer him a word, nor did anyone dare from that day on to ask him any more questions. The wisdom literature reading is from Psalm 18, verses 16 through 24. Psalm 18:16. He reached from on high, he seized me, he drew me from many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from those who hated me because they were stronger than I. They confronted me on the day of disaster, but Yahweh was my support. So he brought me out to a spacious place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Yahweh has rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands he has repaid me. Because I have kept the ways of Yahweh and have not acted wickedly against my God, because all his ordinances are before me and his statutes I have not removed from me, and I was blameless before him, and I kept myself from guilt, therefore Yahweh has repaid me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his sight. This concludes the reading for day 34. Thank you for listening. These daily readings are made possible by your generous support of the Global Outreach Ministry of Scott Purcell. To partner with us and enable this work and others like it, please visit huttobible.com/give and select Go Pastor Support from the fund list. You can also sign up for ministry updates at scott-purcell.epistle.org/subscribe. Both of those links can be found in the podcast description. Thank you for helping us share God's Word.